Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly, the show where I give you guys the top news headlines, introduce you guys to some new prog singles, and give you updates on what's happening here on the channel. Today is September 14th, 2024, and it's going to be a little bit of a quick show. I have a concert I'm going to with my dad, seeing the Fab Four Beatles tribute, so it should be a lot of fun tonight. So I don't have a lot of time to film and edit video today, but I wanted to quickly pop in and let you guys know that I'm doing well and introduce you guys to some new songs that I think you guys will enjoy. So check out the description and the playlist that I've linked there with all these songs. They're all excellent and well worth your time and attention. So really just diving into the singles this time around, but it provides us with some good news items at the same time. So I think it'll work well for this episode. So number one prog single of the week is Frost's Moral and Consequence. This is the infamous UK prog quartet Frost. They're fantastic, one of my favorite groups in the neo-prog space, but have a lot of modern touches to them. Really a great group, one of my favorite in the modern prog scope. So definitely check out this track. I think it's an excellent track from their upcoming album. Double album. It's a concept record, Life in the Wires. Going to be released through Inside Out Music on October 18th. And this showcases all the best about Frost, this track in particular. And the album, I've been able to hear it, have a promo copy, and I'll be reviewing it soon. But I'll just tease to you guys that it's excellent. It's overwhelming amount of music. It's a long, sprawling project, and there's so much good stuff to dive into with it. So definitely going to need several more listens to form any coherent thoughts about it, but just be aware that it's really excellent, well worth your time and attention if you're a modern prog fan. And they've really outdone themselves. It feels like a culmination of all of the albums they've come up with up to this point. It has little touchstones of each of them, and I just think it's really excellent how they craft and put it all together, this big, sprawling concept record. Next at number two, I have Big Big Train's The Connection Plan, the live version from their new live album, A Flare on the Lens, which is actually out this weekend. Through Inside Out Music. I've been looking forward to this. The first big live package that showcases Alberto Bravin, their new frontman, who replaces, of course, David Lungden, who unfortunately passed away. But they've been doing incredible as a live group, and it's cool to see them chronicled on this live set. I believe the shows that they're featuring on here are the shows that they did at London's Cadogan Hall during last year's tour throughout August and September. Fantastic performance. I loved them on Cruise to the Edge. I think they really have upped their game in the live arena, and Alberto is a fantastic frontman. I know a lot of people were concerned if he could fill these giant shoes, but I think he's done an admirable job, and he's a fantastic person to add to the group, not just as the frontman and singer, but he also adds a lot to the writing, to the instrumentation, to just the whole vibe and energy of the band. And so it's a fantastic live record. Their previous album, The Likes of Us, that came out earlier this year, is fantastic. Check that out as well. Definitely will feature on my year-end countdown of favorite albums of the year. And they're always able to poke themselves into my news a little bit, so happy to always talk about Big Big Train and what they have going on. All right, next at number three, prog adjacent, I suppose. A lot of people like this band, even though you can't really classify them full-on prog. But it's Tears for Fears, and they have a new track called The Girl That I Call Home. Pop prog, maybe perhaps some people would call it. Tears for Fears are a very well-known band who had several big hits in the 80s and continue to make fascinating, sophisticated pop music now. Their previous album, The Tipping Point, was a fantastic one that just came out a couple years back. This one is going to be out on October 25th. This is a live album actually coming out called Songs for a Nervous Planet, but it does feature a couple of new studio tracks as well, I believe. I think there's 4 new studio tracks. The single is one of those. And it's their first live album in their career, which is really remarkable feat for them, since they've been in the business for so long that they haven't done a live album up to this point. So it's going to be cool to hear them do a live album. It should be really a great package. It's going to be available as a 2 LP vinyl set, a deluxe triple vinyl direct-to-consumer set on CD, and as a digital album as well. And they're preparing also a concert film to go along with this release, recorded at the scenic First Bank Amphitheater at Greystone Quarry in Franklin, Tennessee during their sold-out global Tipping Point Tour, Part 2. So really going to be fun. The film is going to be premiering in several cinemas worldwide. Looks like over 1,000 cinemas. On October 24th and October 26th. Tickets going on sale Thursday, September 19th. So cool to see the concert film and a new live album release. So should be a really great experience with them. My next prog track for the week is Joe Dennison and Stratusfurious and their track Outrage Olympics. Joe Dennison is... he basically came in and stepped in for Kansas recently. It was recently announced that he's the replacement for Dave Ragsdale in U.S. Prog band Kansas. So he's featured with them. But this track itself is just brilliant. Some really cool stuff going on here. Very much in line with kind of your classic new prog stuff. This is, I believe it says it's their 6th studio album coming out called Imposter, which is being released through Trigun's 7D media label on October 11th. They've spent 6 years making this album, so a lot of time and attention went towards this one, and if this first single is any indication, it seems like it's going to be a really good one, so I really recommend you guys check it out. It looks like there's going to be a cool host of guest musicians on the album, a really cool backing band for the whole project, and it's a album that talks about the emotional battles that Joe has observed in his life and the outside world. So very fascinating stuff and should be definitely well worth your attention. And then finally, David Gilmour's Luck and Strange came out last week, a huge notable release from a prog legend. And the title track came out with a new video that I wanted to put on my list here that features his colleague and the late keyboard player Richard Wright is involved in the video, showcasing a little bit of him, which is a cool little nod to the fans to showcase Richard Wright, even though he is no longer with us. Fantastic solo record from Gilmour, very laid back and very cool. Maybe not super proggy, but just a really chill record to really enjoy and to soak in with his great guitar playing and his just persona. Really great. So this track in particular features Richard Wright on electric piano and Hammond. I believe that it was from like some early demos or something like that Richard Wright played on that David Gilmour used and fleshed out. So really cool stuff. Great to see some legends playing together and David Gilmour really bringing a lot of attention to prog. In fact, this album topped the UK charts. And so cool that this 78-year-old musician is able to top the charts still and showcase why he's a legend. So great stuff there. Those are the tracks that I have for you guys and a little bit of smattering of prog news throughout. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some of those. As for the channel itself and what's going on here in my world, I did some pretty good amount of videos this past week. I want to turn your attention to the Prog Song Sunday that I did with Jana. We covered a Jethro Tull classic track called Sweet Dream. That was a lot of fun. I did a couple of reviews this week as well. I did one for Bent Knee and their new album 20 Pills Without Water, which they're more of like an avant pop or art rock style band that I think has some cool prog tendencies that you guys will enjoy. I also covered the new Jordan Rudess solo album, Permission to Fly. Of course, the legendary keyboardist of Dream Theater, striking out on his own. Album that has a bit more of a band feel. Great vocal performance from Joe Payne on that record. Definitely urge you guys to check it out and listen to some technical wizardry from Jordan and some really great songcraft. Great one. And I did a top 5, which really was expanded into a top 10, if we're being honest, of the best late career prog albums. Albums by bands that have been on the scene for quite some time, and this is late in their career, 30 plus years into their career. They're making some incredible albums still and showcasing why they're such legends of the genre, I think. So check out that video. It got a lot of cool comments, and people have added a lot of good choices in the comments that I didn't think about. So definitely watch that video, look through the comments, and add in your own choices that maybe haven't been covered yet. So that's what I have on the channel. Hopefully you enjoyed that. It should it'll probably be a little bit of a lighter week this upcoming week. Kind of busy, a lot going on here with my personal life and whatnot. We're going to forego an episode with Jana this weekend, unfortunately. We just weren't able to put it together, but it should be able to return the week after. I'm going to be putting out a review of a brand new prog album that has really taken me by surprise and I want to bring attention towards. So that'll be the main feature this week on the channel, but I'll definitely have a lot more coming up in the future, percolating on some new top 5 ideas. It seems like those shows really do well, that you guys like the top 5 topics. So thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode. Hopefully you guys are having a great weekend, and I'll hopefully catch you guys in a future episode. Bye everybody, enjoy the music.